Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick. Today we have the Imperial Assault Hovertank, set number 75152, 385 pieces, and it contains 3 minifigures. And this set retails for $29.99 in the United States. I think it's like $39.99 in the UK, which is a little pricey, but one instruction booklet. And I did get this on clearance, actually, for my brother, because he is a Star Wars fan. Probably a bit more than I, but not that I dislike Star Wars or anything. It's just that, I prefer other things. But, anyway, pretty good price for this set at, $21, which is, about, almost, close to 5 cents per piece, probably more like 6. But anyway, let's stop blabbering about prices and take a look at the actual tank. So the tank itself is actually decently large and is something quite unique as far as LEGO builds go. In the Star Wars theme, we haven't seen anything like this before because this was new for Rogue One, and I think that it's actually a really nice looking thing. Obviously, this crate on the back is nice and bright orange, and it actually, I think, does good things for the set as a whole, just because it kind of breaks up this, plain old gray color scheme. And if you get the second crate like this from the Scarif Battle set, then you can put it right here, and you can have 2 of them on the back, which I think also would look really nice. I don't have that set, so I can't show you. But, anyway, the design is pretty interesting. I like this, kind of heatsink looking thing on the front, but, it looks cool, I think. And you got this one little blaster here, which, as you just saw, does actually, shoot. Or I don't know if you could tell, but you could at least hear it. The blasters are right here, and right here. They do include a spare missile, by the way, which I'm actually using because my other one went all the way across the room. I don't want to pause the video, but as you turn this gear on the side, it will turn a little Technic lift arm inside the vehicle, which pushes down on the end of that missile and shoots it. Anyway, there you can actually see where they sit, and they're very hidden from, most normal angles, unless you're, like, straight down on the ground. I guess probably a minifigure would be able to see it, but, most normal humans cannot. You also have 2 more guns on the sides, which can be angled up and down, but these do not shoot. You could also turn these around if you wanted to, shoot behind. This is the cockpit area where the minifigures sit. We'll take a look at that later. But I do like the level of detail going down the side, especially down here. They didn't really need to cover that up, but this is just all covering up Technic bricks that are needed to connect it to the body, so I appreciate that addition there. And then you have the little heatsink looking things on the back as well. And this back section is a little bit plainer and a little bit more open, but I think that it looks good still. And also, before we take a look at the cockpit, last thing is this the bottom, which has 4 wheels, which actually keep it off the ground just a little bit. You can see a little shadow there. That's because it's not touching the ground. It is that far off. Like, you can lean it over as well, just so that you can see the small degree that it is held up. But I do think that it works well. And this cockpit section, just from the front, you can see you have this little simulated hatch there, which would be open, and that's why it's got the black there. I like how they do that. They put one of these 2x2 tiles with the holes in the middle on there, and it's on like a bar piece. I think that just looks kind of cool, because they couldn't fit a hatch on here, because this all angles open, and you can see your first little Imperial Hovertank pilot figure there. There's 2 of them, because the other one is back here, and you can see this is another hatch. This one actually opens, so it's not the perfect opening, because obviously it's kind of opens up everything, but you can see there that he does sit in there. The back one leans back quite a bit, but he does have a seat there. If we remove him, you can see these are the little axles that activate the spring-loaded missiles. So if we turn the gear on the side, you can see this thing moves back and forth, and then it shoots off the thing. They're set in here like a friend's vehicle, basically, that uses that little section there. And this one has a little bit more space to lean back, and he has some buttons on the side. So I would assume probably the lower one is the one who's actually driving the thing, and the back one is the gunner, because the back one has, you know, easier way to get out. Except they would both probably end up going through this back hatch. That's probably like the real entrance to the vehicle. The other hatch is just to look out, I guess. The only kind of confusing thing is that there's really no way for them to see out. I guess they have like video screens or something, but I guess that does keep it from from actually you know, keeping them from, or it keeps them from, you know, being shot at through windows, I guess. But you can see here there is also a little trans red tile on the other side of this headlight brick, so that is kind of a window. That's kind of the best that they've got. And you could also, this is the one other feature of the set, take this this guy's gun when he goes and sits inside. You may have noticed that I'd had them holding their guns before, but only the guy in the back can hold the gun. The other one doesn't have enough space. So if you give the guy in the back the small blaster, he can hold that there, and he'll fit in just fine. And then this guy in the front can just sit there with nothing, because he can leave his weapon up on the top as kind of a turret. And I didn't lean that guy all the way back. But yeah, that also looks pretty good, and it works well. That's why this thing is here, and I think that that's just a nice addition. And the last thing is this crate I showed you earlier. It can open up. It doesn't have much space inside there because of the way it's built, but it does have a pair of those binoculars, and I like the Star Wars binoculars. I forget what they're supposed to be called, and a little pistol. So it does include all three sizes of gun in the set. So that's the Hovertank itself. I think that this is a pretty interesting build, and definitely something nice and unique. I imagine that we will be getting a re-release of this at some point, you know, far in the future. This is going to be one of those more popular tank kind of style builds. Alright, we're going to start here with the one that we haven't, or with the figure that we haven't seen any of yet in this review. Or I guess we've seen him, but I haven't talked about him at all. This is Chirrut Imwe, and he is the only, you know, hero or good guy, one of the rebels from the movie Rogue One, and he's a pretty cool figure actually. You can see he's got a lot going on here because he has on his back a way to hold this bowcaster weapon, which is really cool actually. I like how they do that with one of these Technic, like one of these Technic hole things that has, you know, the bar-sized holes on the sides. So it kind of makes a long-sized blaster into a bow-looking thing, bowcaster. But obviously, the more recognizable weapon in the movie is his staff, and you can clip that on his back as well. It's quite big, but still works, I think. And maybe you'd even change the angle, be a little bit higher for that one. But overall, he looks recognizable as the character from the movie. The one thing that's a little bit different is the eyes. In the movie, he looked like he had pretty much normal eyes, but he is blind, so this is how they represent that he's blind. His torso looks really good, nice and detailed there. And I really like this cloth piece that goes all the way around his legs. It's got some printing on there, and you can see it kind of set up so that he can move his legs back and forth. But it wraps around, like you start at the back, and then you wrap the two fronts around. And it just looks pretty cool. I'm not going to bother taking it off because there is no printing on the legs underneath. But obviously cloth pieces attract a little dust, so that'll look a little bit weirder after a while. You have to keep it a little bit clean. But, yeah. The back of his torso has some printing, but in order to do that, we're going to have to take off his little attachment for his weapons. And you can see the other side of his face, which we'll take a closer look at in a second. But you can see on the back he just has his robes and his little belts going across, and I think that that does look good. And leaving the weapons off for now, you can see that he does also have a smiling face, which looks good. And there's his, recognizable staff. That's a good look for Chirrut. But the other two figures are both from the Imperial side. Okay, so these are the two Imperial Hovertank pilots, and they actually have a really interesting design to them. If you look at the torso, you can see it's some basic clone trooper / stormtrooper armor, but it does have some sand or dent or whatever scratches on there, which is a nice color change. I like the belt going across the hips and the bottom of the torso. And the legs are relatively simple, mostly black. It is a little weird how the line cuts off there, but that is because of the way that they print stuff. They probably could print it a little bit lower, but this is just the easiest way, so they didn't put too much effort into making these guys look perfect, it seems. Because they're army builder figures, so they're probably going, I guess they're kind of army building figures, so they're probably going to try to use these in cheaper sets, mainly. But there is the back printing. It looks pretty good, I guess. Nothing super exceptional, but nothing boring either. And the helmet, I think, is where this figure really, stands out. It has it's a nice visor printed on there, and then some print going across the top and down at the bottom. I think that all in all, the level of detail is really nice, and it just works really well. So yeah, and underneath the helmets, you can see that these figures are identical. They're both angry clones, but other than that, the only difference is the weapons. One of them has the longer blaster rifle, one of them has the standard medium size. So that's the rest of the figures taken care of. Let's get back to the final verdict. Alright, so overall, I think that this set is actually really nicely done. This was the smallest from the first wave of Rogue One sets, I think, right? At only $30, so the lowest price point, and it included some good figures, both of which are exclusive to the set. Obviously there are two of these guys, but Chirrut is still currently exclusive to this. I will be surprised if he stays exclusive, though. That might update him possibly, but the character is definitely going to be released again at some point, since he was a main character in Rogue One. The one thing with this, though, is that since the the heroes of the movie, the rebels, the various characters, are split up over all the sets, then you're going to end up having to buy all of them in order to get the whole team, except for Battle on Scarif. That's the only one that doesn't have, that has duplicates of the characters from the U-Wing. But overall, I think that this set on its own is pretty good, actually. It has a obviously Imperial-centered forces here, but the Chirrut figure is pretty awesome and really nice to get a main character in this small set. Even if it is the only way you can get him, I still think that it is definitely a really nice inclusion. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you guys think of this set, and let me know what your favorite Rogue One set is. I think mine is probably the U-Wing, but I don't know if I'll get it just because it is big, and I don't know if I'll have the space or area to set aside for a Rogue One display. So that one may, if I get that one, it'll probably be on sale or clearance or something. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did, and I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.